office buildings in the United States to some degree also.
If you haven't seen that clip floating around, go watch it in its entirety. It's a Blackstone CEO, I believe is what that is, talking about how people don't need to be working from home. Old man seems feeble, but this is why I don't have much interest in participating in the workforce, even though I'm forced to and required to because I want to, just live, just be. No, they want you back in the office. I know people say it's because the real estate costs, they have to have that for tax write-offs and because they have to have that. But the other portion of it is they want to ride you like a racehorse. They want to make sure that they can monitor every second that you're working for them. And if your every second is not full of something that's making them money, they want to make sure they can push it that way. And I'm so tired of that. This is so ridiculous. And also he talks about how if people work at home, they're not spending anymore. They're just not spending on the money. Yeah, because people can't afford to. You're not paying them enough to. Guys like this, I don't know what they do. I'm sorry. And I've said it before, I don't see CEOs actually doing anything. I don't see CEOs actually doing anything for the company because everything that is done by the employees, not the CEOs. I worked for an IT company where one of the CEOs we acquired came from the company that got sold, one of the companies that got sold off because it was worth enough money that they sold it, laid off all the employees. He made his profit and decided to come micromanage the company I was working at, which was such a pain because he was so out of touch with what the business was doing, didn't understand the day-to-day. As it is, we were already losing clients and they kept blaming us when it was not a productivity issue. It was more of how we were handling things, and we were getting such crappy clients. But they weren't saying that because the attitude of a CEO is always the same. As long as you're a bad client, it's just profit we haven't tapped into yet. And it's like, no, not at all. Pay wages were slipping. Guys that were coming after me getting paid less. These were all plans put forth by CEOs that didn't make any sense for how the business was running. But oh my God, they're CEOs, and I hear common people going, they're CEOs. They think in a way that you can't possibly know. The other commonality with a lot of people I've talked to that are CEOs, because I have interacted with some CEOs and upper management, is they worship people like Elon Musk. So it's like these bad decisions are so circular. I still stand by the fact I could be put into any company, I could run it better and still have it make money than any of these CEOs that are in there because they just gotten too comfortable doing whatever they want. One company I worked for that I did IT work for during pandemic, they specifically put their employees in danger to keep things making money. I also, in a roundabout way, found out that they paid into a fund that represented their business. I'm not going to mention that because I can get in trouble for this. This is where it's dangerous. But they paid into a national lobbying group that ensured that this non-essential business could still be considered an essential business during the pandemic. They also collected the PPP loans and put a lot of people at risk, and they laid off, aka fired. I'm not going to say, I wouldn't say laid off because these people didn't get severances. They fired a few hundred people as a result of those people getting sick from COVID or just not wanting to work because they were afraid of COVID. I lost my job as a result of that. That's why I've been unemployed for so long, because of the fact that I'm asthmatic, and I expressed early on that, hey, I can't be going to sites because part of my job being IT was to go on site to do work. And it was like, hey, I can't be going to these sites. There were 3 sites in particular that, had the people that run those sites had got COVID, and those people still showed up to work. And then their subordinates got COVID. They still showed up to work. They were still letting people into the buildings, even though the state mandate said they couldn't do that. I did everything that I could to try to make it stop. And we were basically told that they didn't know who said something, but really, if we had a problem with that, we should have gone to management. Why? So they could fire me sooner? Unfortunately, that I know of, they didn't get in much trouble. I think they got a fine because it was found that they had done that. I wish I had done more. I wish that I had taken more photos. I wish that I had taken video. And I wish that I could have got legal representation, because if I had known that I was going to be unemployed this long as the result of that company doing what they've done, and I'm pretty sure they're still blackballing me and things, I wish that I would have got more things that could have sued, because they put a lot of people in a bad position. I know a lot of people who were older, they got really badly sick and lost their job. So not only did they have to deal with being sick, I don't know if they lived or not, but they also lost their job and could not handle a lot of things. And they were already having a difficult time with things. But this has all got to stop. This is getting ridiculous. So if you guys have comments or questions, feel free to leave them, and I'll engage, where appropriate.